so everybody can have an understanding. Okay, so welcome again, team. I very much appreciate everyone and your time for being here. We are here to discuss and educate ourselves as a community on one of the opportunities that we had happened to be a part of, right? One thing I do want to put up is I don't have the disclaimer on here, but I'm going to put a disclaimer on for you so you guys can know at the same time. Remember, nothing that we say or do here as a community is financial advice. I believe everyone here is in a position where they are mature. They understand money, finance to a certain level. And even if you don't, you probably would contact a financial advisor if you want to make certain decisions. But inside this crypto space, it's very volatile, right? I've been full-time in crypto for the last 6 to 7 years, guys, right? I've been full-time in this space. And literally, this is all that I do, not just the MLM side, right? Many of you know me trading coins and all these other things. So it's been a nice journey, just, dealing with all this volatility and this risk. But then the upside, the reward is something that we all look to. So always remember that when you're involved in cryptocurrency, you are taking a massive risk. And I believe we have seen it forehand through different experiences. Myself, I have, and I'm sure many of you would also testify to your own separate experiences that you have had, right? Is there where I can change the language, translate to English? Yes. Okay. Okay.
Also, I think you have to use the other website, Fintoch.
Yeah, I'll
Fintoch
go
is
to
working.
FinSwap.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'll
SCF
go
is
to
not
FinSwap.
working. It's hooking up now.
Yeah, I'm gonna go there. I just want to be here so I can explain it once we get there, right? Thank you so much, Casey. And I'll introduce one of my friends that I met through this project. Just like many of you guys, he's also a team member, team leader. Very in-depth knowledge. I learned a lot from him over the last couple of days, couple of weeks, I believe, couple of months that we have been interacting, right? So we began through in this project as a team. We started, it was called Fintoch, right? Every time I used it, it was working great, smart contract, and then they transitioned, created a blockchain. And at that point, we had to transition to nodes, right? And many of you know that many of us didn't like the idea in the beginning, but as we begin to learn in crypto, we begin to learn the value of different types of assets in crypto, and nodes became exciting, right? It became exciting. Staking became exciting, and then staking ended, and then that was the end of it, right? For the passive income side that we were used to. So if anyone had assets at the time, we know that personally myself, all my assets were converted into these nodes, which have been mining till today, till recently when the app has basically stopped working, right? So everybody's like, why has the app stopped working? What is going on? Is this finally the end? Are we just gonna say goodbye? I would have thought so, myself, but then just as a team, as a team member, team leader, somebody really concerned about my community from day one, I have always been asking the hard questions, right? That's what has led me to meeting so many people outside of our community so I can gather enough information. And the information at hand right now is that there is a major or a massive upgrade going on with the entire app and the servers that run the SCF application, including, we'll talk about the other transition that happened with FSP, right? So as you can see, when you go on this website, which is it's like a way to track, right? Secure signatures for different websites, just track all the different servers. You can see there's an entire management, or there's something going on where you don't really see any servers running right now because there's a massive upgrade going on for the entire SCF service itself, right? So even when I go back to English, right? Even when I refresh the page, nothing shows. So from what I've heard, guys, let's all rest assured because the app will be coming back, right? Fully upgraded. I believe there's going to be certain additions and features that will be new to us in there. And we'll talk about what those apps and features might be, right? At the same time, we also remember during the entire transition, there was talks about a exchange. a decentralized exchange called FinSwap that was going to be launched, right? And for some reasons, whatever it is, once again, due to lack of consistent communication from the corporate staff, from the company itself, in the beginning, yes, there was so much information, but there is really little to nothing today, right? Little to nothing today. And this has also led us to just have to ask so many questions in so many places just to get an understanding. So I'll explain what this whole page is, but basically because the app is not working, this is where we can see the names. So I can have the names showing, right? So FinSwap was supposed to be their decentralized exchange, which was going to come basically help us be able to transfer and exchange and interact with the ecosystem with all the different assets that we had, from our SCF token to tokens like USDT to the FUSD token, FTC, basically every token that we had seen that had transitioned through every part of this project was supposed to be exchangeable or tradable or interactable inside of FinSwap. But it's been 1+ year and FinSwap still has not launched. But today, what we can see today is that there is massive upgrades, right, going on. And now, before I even get into massive upgrades, we want to explain real quick what FSP is. So there got to a point in the opportunity in the project where they had sent out a new program called the FSP donation packages. Now, in the beginning, we had over 58,000 wallets plus. I believe it was actually a little bit way more than that. But during one of the transitions, some of the teams had disappeared. But at the last end, under our community, right, we had about 58,000 plus wallets that were in our team. And when we got into FSP, because of the confusion, because of the lack of accountability from the company, because of the lack of information, we put out a statement, right? And many of you remember that it should only be those that are willing to take that massive risk, knowing that we still had assets in SCF that were not exchangeable with real value at the time. When the app comes back, even prior to the app going off, you can exchange SCF for FTC, which is the old token they had on Binance Smart Chain before they launched the blockchain for SCF, right? You can convert it, but the assets had very, very bad pricing. So let me see if I can have AI. Let me see if I can pull up the tokens here, and that could actually help, right? Try to make this as short as possible so we can all be out of here. Okay. So we go to FTC. Okay. So this is the the derivative of SCF. Now, for those of you that understand, these terms in crypto, you know what that means. You have one asset on a different chain. You can recreate the same asset, the same token on another chain to reflect the same token you have, right? So many of you remember this token really went high, right? And today it's sitting at 0.0778, right? So that's 7 pennies, right? Basically almost 8 pennies from an all-time high of about 160, 170, 160 something dollars, right? So we lost a lot of equity, exchangeable equity. So when you transfer your SCF to FTC, this is the real value. So if when you were looking at your app and you saw $1,000 worth of SCF tokens and $20,000 worth of SCF tokens, technically that is not the real value because we cannot even exchange inside the SCF app. So you have to convert it to FTC, and from FTC, then you would be able to. Okay, what happened to mine? Okay. Yeah, from FTC, then from FTC, you would be able to convert it to USDT. Why? Because this is on the Binance Smart Chain, right? So this is the token, and that's how that goes about. So yes, your assets are still there. You still produce tokens every day. You can exchange those tokens to USDT. There is just no intrinsic value that is worth the transfer. But some people have been doing it. As you can see, there's many sell transactions that come in on a daily basis, or and buys and stuff. So some people have been actively converting it to whatever it will get them, 10 cents, $20, whatever. They will still sell everything, right? As you can see, even right here, I'm trying to get a sell that somebody made. Somebody sold 62 FTC for $4.74, right? So people are just taking whatever value they can, whilst others are buying also, just in case something happens and the price goes up, right? That's crypto. It goes up and it goes down. Doesn't matter what token. It goes up and it goes down. But when there's real community engagement, sustainable measures put in place, high level marketing, it begins to sustain a balance and shows you a trajectory of if it will still go higher, right? So then the next thing we want to look at is the FSP. Okay. So when all these assets got converted, right? When the whole change came, we were, the company said, hey, guys, through the announcements in the app, if you want to donate to FSP, they're launching a new token, which would be the token of their exchange, the FinSwap exchange, right? Just like PancakeSwap, even though it runs on Binance, has Cake, which is the specific token for DeFi within PancakeSwap, right? So that was the concept, and this came out, and we advised our communities. We said, look, if you're ready to take only the most massive risk, knowing that we still in a situation where the equity is not what we wanted, then get involved. But guess what? So, we strongly advise people not to, but still, we had about 5,000 wallets in our community, close to 6,000 wallets participate in this, right? Even I was shocked, right? It took me almost a month while everyone else was getting the FSP. I didn't even do it, right? And I was like, wait, so many people are buying into the FSP, I might as well. So I did the same thing and grabbed some of that FSP, right? And so then what happened after that, right? They launched it. There was supposed to be a whole marketing behind it, guys. And guess what? We didn't see all that come to play. And that led to this kind of chart, right? I mean, it looks like this, but it took a while to do this, right? It wasn't overnight. Um, Let me try the daily. Maybe the daily might give us better insight, right? So yeah, okay, yeah. So this is what happened. So the token also went all the way down, and now it's at 0.76 cents. So close to the same price of FTC. Now, guys, this is not a coincidence, right? In crypto, there's market makers and manipulators, and so I'm starting to see a trend, and for that reason, I started to connect with a lot of different people, and right now, I currently have an update as to what we should expect in terms of how we should prepare our minds towards this. I don't want you to get excited for anything. This is nothing that is coming from a corporate standpoint, right? This is something that is coming from an analysis that anyone who is involved in cryptocurrencies, actual trading of cryptocurrencies on DeFi exchanges, can be able to put one and two together. And also with the history that we have being a part of Fintoch and SCF and FSP, we have a little bit of history to know what they are going to do based on how they have moved, right? So SCF was listed in October 1st, right? Basically, this token was doing very well. It was being traded. We received these donation packages. We were able to access these tokens. And then at one point in time, they changed the plan, right? They said now we have to provide liquidity, right? So when the whole provision of liquidity happened, we started to realize that something important was being set. There was an important precedent being set, even though the team or the company was not actively promoting or marketing their token. So there's over 192,000 holders, almost 193, and there's about 89,000 or 88,900 locked liquidity. Can you imagine? Locked liquidity. So this token is currently, if I can get the data right, is sitting on liquidity at $5.6 million, right? That is huge with a market cap of 7.2 million. Now, folks, this will be right here. Just let me put the marker on so you guys can see. This is the market cap and this is the liquidity. Once again, nothing here I'm saying is financial advice. I'm literally just giving you guys some, just sharing education based on my understanding, just being able to deal with cryptocurrencies. Once again, it's not something you should get excited for or get, or get unexcited or, different or feel different about. This is just something you can learn and keep it in the back of your head as we begin to observe what happens when the new app comes out, right? So the token is sitting at 7.2 million in market cap with 5.6 million in liquidity. Now, if any of you have traded cryptocurrencies, this is like literally insane. When I say insane, I mean it's one of those rare moments where this looks like a great token to buy, right? Now, why do I say this? We can go on CoinMarketCap and someone should recommend one token that we should look at. Can anyone recommend a token other than Bitcoin, Ethereum, just any other altcoin that's your favorite? Can someone recommend a token that we should look for on the list? Anyone here? You can.
How about Solana? No, we already have that on there, right?
Yeah, I mean, so you want to look at Solana? Let's see if we can look at Solana. All right, let's see if we can look at Solana. All right. And Solana is a very, very, big token, right? A lot of people. Will we find the liquidity? Let's see where I'll find that information. In fact, I think I know exactly what to do. I will copy the contract address. Once again, guys, sorry if there's any sound in the back on my end. Come on, contract address, where are you? Okay, well, let's use something else, right? Let me use something else. Let's use something like PayPay. I'm just trying to see if I can find the contract address. Great. Okay. And then I'm gonna copy it. I think I see liquidity here. So I'll go to Deck Screener. I'm gonna show you guys something, right? The on-chain liquidity for this token. And we're gonna just look at something and compare it, right? Great. So here we are looking at a token that is popular. When I say popular, everyone around the world knows about PayPay, as far as those that trade cryptocurrency, right? PayPay is also, yeah, it's currently doing well. At least it's doing well compared to other tokens, right? Since it launched, whatever price that it launched at is still doing well. Now, what I want to look at is the liquidity. It's at 36 million, right? And the market cap is at 4.03 billion. In fact, if everyone who held PayPay, in fact, if 40%, 30% of those who held PayPay today decide to sell, this token would probably go to zero, straight to zero, right? It does not have enough liquidity. This is literally less than 1%. This is less than 1%, right? Once again, we're going to come back here. 5 million versus a 7 million market cap. This is literally sitting at almost, and those of you that can do math, I'm just going to throw a number out there. This should be about 75 to 85% of the liquidity being equal to the market cap. You will never find this. You can search 100 tokens today, right? We can skip PayPay and we can go in here and pick any coin, right? Any of these new coins people are buying. All right, let's pick anything. This coin has been very popular, doing very well. Everybody's been going crazy about it, right? 1 billion market cap, 22 million on-chain liquidity, right? So what I'm just trying to say is that at the moment, the only thing that is looking good or a positive inside this project that has left all of us confused and frustrated and just trying to figure out what we can do with these assets is the fact that the FSP token has lost its price, don't get me wrong, but is healthy in terms of the liquidity and the market cap that it sits on, right? So, during my interaction, that's where I came across all the different Asian communities that are still actively involved, educating their teams like we had been doing, more frequently about FSP, right? And what FSP can do. 100 million supply, currently, majority of it is locked inside of the FSP packages where some members never decided to add liquidity and have exited the project. So those tokens will never come into circulation. Some have been locked in this liquidity, as you can see, right? 7.8 in a black hole, 3.2% in a pink seal lock that community members today are actively buying tokens themselves and locking it up. So we saw all this activity and we began to ask more questions, and I'll let my friend KC come in at the end, and he would tell you why his community excited, why they're excited, and what they're actually looking to do once things come into fruition with this company or this project. And just so our team is well informed, maybe it's something that you can apply, right? Because information is power. You're better off knowing than not knowing, right? So with all that being said, right now we are looking at FSP, right? So when you go onto the service to look at FSP, now let me see if I can find Casey. I know you're on. Maybe you can send me. Give me 1 second. Let me see if I can find this. I want to find the full server list, right? Because the one I have right now is only talking about the German server. Let me see if I can.
Kojo, you just scroll up. Yeah.
Just go up, right?
Yeah,
And,
it's above.
and then erase the rest.
No. Keep it like before.
Oh, keep it like that? Okay.
Yeah. And you scroll down or scroll up. Just now I saw you have the full servers. Yeah. That's it. You click here, yes.
Okay. So currently, right, these are some of the servers that are live and have passed. Okay, so these are the whole list of servers, right? As you guys can see, multiple servers, as you can see right here. Now, they have actually added more servers than they had in the beginning, right? So when you have a development, and this is just me just sharing information that I've also heard and read. This is not me knowing everything, right? This is we acquire information, and it's possible that we can share it, and it's important that we actually do, right? So um, here you can see that they have added more service. Now, ask yourself, why will a development team building a project, if quote unquote have abandoned it, why are they going in and upgrading their server list and adding more hosting servers as if they're adding more systems into the application? That's all it means, right? If you have, for example, you have a game and your game can have 5 people online, and then now 20 people say they want to play the game, you would have to go add more servers so it can accommodate 20 people. So it means you're adding more to the system, right? So that's what these guys have been doing. And it's just led us to ask more questions. And it looks like the FinSwap will be coming soon, right? It could be days, it could be weeks, it could be months. Once again, there is no formal communication, speculation, right? And so we just want everyone in our team to be aware that yes, the app is not working today, but expect it to work soon. And when it does, we will inform everyone, and we'll be able to all download it and just wait to find a way how we as a team can take our existing assets in FSP and we can turn it into something worth value, right? That we can all extract, knowing that the liquidity is healthy. And I believe timing will play a big factor as into how much you can extract as this price begins to climb up. Many of us want this price to be at least $40 again, right? Because many people bought their FSP packages at $1. Some bought it at $2, some bought it at $7, $10, some even bought it at $60, right? I was literally just picking a little bit every time as it goes. So for me, any price is fine, but I believe 40 would be a healthy place to start for us to feel like we are at a place where we have something we can take out of the system. Now, for the price to get to $40, that's going to take millions of buys. Millions of buys. But there have been buys coming in already, guys. Today, maybe nothing. But over the last couple of weeks, every now and then you go and look, and there might be 20 buys coming in, you know, a huge volume in the millions. There might be hundreds of thousands and buys coming in. It's been very it's been a lot of activity, right? So, gentlemen, I'm going to introduce to you KC and his community. They have been excited. They have decided as a community to just take this FSP as a DeFi token that they can get excited about. And they have been buying it and holding it and hoping that if the price goes up, you know, they can get some value from it. At the same time, they are also staking it, because when you stake it in the LP, because it's a decentralized application that is on, it's not in the SCF app, right? This is within the Pinksil pool and the Binance Smart Chain pool. So all transaction fees are paid, trading fees are paid back to those staking. So that's another way that some people have been just sitting in there in these pools and taking whatever couple of cents or a couple of dollars that come in from transaction fees, right? So I'm just gonna pass it on to KC. You don't want to take too much of your time, everyone. KC, if you're on, maybe you can just quickly introduce yourself and just share as to why you and your community have stayed strong and have stayed excited about this FSP. Thank you.
Hi, good morning from Singapore. Yeah, I've been a SCF participant since 2023, like Kozo. And, you know, it has been a sort of a bad journey. We were locked up in version 1.0, 2.0. And after the donations, on the 1st of October, we went up to $115. You know, as a DeFi project, we need to provide liquidity. But at that time, we got a poor leader who came from the MLM world. He doesn't understand about DeFi and is practically doing online trading, buying low and selling high, pump and dump. Eventually, many of the FSP holders follow his trade and lost a lot of money. The company, actually, it's nothing to do with the company, the price dropped so low. It's this leader, he's a clown. So eventually, the company blackmail him, or not blackmail him, you know, told him unless he stop his circus, the company not going to expand anymore, not going to do anymore, and force him to sell all his FSP tokens. The company told him, unless you go, or we stop developing further. So he and the field leaders, they were holding a lot of FSP coins. They were selling out millions of coins, hundreds of thousands of coins every day. That's why the price from 115 go down to a miserable 0.0377. So now the community in China has taken over. They have seen the data and they are excited. They are too. Can you all hear me?
Loud and clear, brother. We can hear you.
Okay. So there are two communities that took over the FSP marketing, and they are very passionate about it. They want to make it like the successful DeFi before. You know, you heard of YFI. YFI was just about 3,000 housewives. They brought YFI from nothing, just a few cents or few dollars, up to 93,000 US dollars per coin. And some of these YFI housewives are in our FSP community now. And some of the traders, they have seen our data, our liquidity. They have also added liquidity to our FSP system. So from China, we hope to bring this project or FSP to the world. Now it's starting to get exciting in China. And now it's Africa, your turn. We hope that you all can come and join us in this community and bring FSP to the moon. Yeah. Okay, Kozo, that's about it. I think
Thank you so
Yeah.
much. Thank you so much, Casey. So, folks, right? Just wanted to once again, let you guys know this is the current update. This is where we are at as a community, and this is where we are at with the project, right? And so, yes, this has been recorded. Currently, once again, the app is not working. I think we are all aware at this point. All we have to do is wait. We don't know when. But we are still actively going around asking all the different questions just to make sure we are well informed. And once we do, we will go back and come back here and update everyone again. So maybe in the next weeks, hopefully much sooner than we should want to wait for more weeks, but hopefully it's sooner than 1 week, sooner than 2 weeks, right? Sooner than 1 month or 2 months or 3 months, that the app might be back available. So I'm going to stop the recording. And, I think stop will be better than pause. Let me stop the recording. Well, let me pause.